And so here we are, talking into a microphone, recording on a computer. Knowing that what I'm capable of doing with the knowledge I have, the fact that I'm physically capable to some extent anyway, the fact that I have the knowledge to be completely capable of doing something that I dreamed of doing, all to be drowned out by not being mentally or emotionally capable of getting to that point and being unable to change, being incapable to change right now. Feeling like every day it just seems to get worse instead of better. Wondering when really is the turning point gonna come? When will I be able to escape this? Trapped inside a prison of my mind's own making. This isn't where I want to be. This isn't who I want to be. I don't want to be this fear-ridden person who's drove by avoidance, avoiding situations that would make me feel worse. It's not who I want to be, it's not where I want to be. But at the same point in time, being incapable mentally and emotionally, and even physically, to change. Being confined to four walls and a roof every day. The feeling of helplessness just begins to shroud you like a blanket, really. And you know, if this video or this audio ever makes it on to YouTube, because I may end up uploading this at one stage, I may not. However, if I do upload it, I am aware that I'm not alone in this. I know there are other people that go through this day by day. And they're probably feeling the same way. At least some of them. Even if it's just one of them. I don't want sympathy. I don't need sympathy from anyone. What I want is for someone to actually hear this and understand that they're not alone. You know, there are other people going through this. After all, having a panic disorder can change your life, as it has mine. Even having just anxiety itself, or generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, again can be a life changer. It can be a life maker, a life breaker. More often than not, it's a life breaker for people that suffer with it long term. It changes their lives and it breaks their lives away from what they want it to be. I'm only going off my own experience. Other people will have varying experiences, as it's all dependent on the individual. However, some attributes may be shared by multiple people. And it's those attributes that are shared by multiple people that I'm hoping can actually relate to someone, so that they know they're not the only ones that feel it. I am aware that I'm not the only one that feels like this. I'm aware that I'm not the only one that suffers. That's why I don't want sympathy, because it's not right. I'm not here to ask for sympathy, ask for people to feel sorry for me. No. Don't feel sorry for me. Because I'm trying to change my ways. I'm trying to change who I am by slowly actually getting out and doing things. Things that, when I feel comfortable, I would have got over those hurdles. But not all people are fortunate to have that. Not all people are there emotionally or mentally to be able to even attempt it. And it's those sorts of people that I want to reach with this. You know, even if it's just to say, you may not feel like that right now. And trust me, I know how that feels, because I was there. I was there where I thought, you know what, I'm never going to be anything else. I'm never going to get over this. This is just my life now. I was there. Feeling like you're trapped in an inescapable prison. One of your mind's own making. Feeling like you're never going to get out. Feeling like you're serving your own permanent life sentence within your own mind. You don't feel like that's you. And to some extent you know that ain't who you are. We are much like computers. We have electrical signals going through us, and some of us end up developing defects, much like a computer does. Now, I work with computers quite a lot, which is how I'm always explaining things. I always use computers to try and explain things because it's what I'm used to working on. Every time a computer gets a defect and an error, that can happen to us. And unfortunately, that's what causes all this, is a biological error. One that we cannot control. We didn't create the error. We didn't want the error to happen to us. It just happened. And if you don't suffer with anxiety or anything like that, but you're listening to this because you want to understand, then I do thank you for actually wanting to understand how it feels, how our minds feel, the sort of things that go through our mind. You know, because a lot of people tend to go, just suck it up and get over it. It ain't that easy. Trust me. I've tried. Sometimes you need help to get through these things. Sometimes you're not capable of doing it on your own. Some people might be able to. But some people aren't capable of doing it alone. I'm one of those. And unfortunately, I was one of those that thought I could do it on my own, and ended up crashing down, hitting low points. Points where depression became a part of my daily life. And to some extent, it's still there in the back of my mind, but it's nowhere near as bad as it once was. Because I learnt to take help. As much as I feel it's almost humiliating for me, how can I not get past this myself? As much as I begrudgingly did it, I'm glad I did. And I'm sure if you have the ability to have someone to help you, and you're feeling that way yourself, I can guarantee you may not immediately like it. Just give it a try. You don't have to stick to it if it really upsets you or gets to you. Just give it a try. And maybe in the end you'll realise actually it was one of the best decisions you've ever made. Now I know I'm lucky in the sense that I've got family who have been through this themselves. They've been through anxiety, they've been through depression. I mean, one of my family members still has PTSD from serving in the military. Now, I can't tell you how that feels because I was never there. I'm only going off the experiences I feel. And I'm only telling you things that I go through and how I feel. Because I don't want to speak on anyone else's behalf. You know, I don't want to be this person that says, what's it like having this? Well, this is how it would feel like. When actually I've never been through that myself. That's not right. And so it's the only reason why I'm speaking about panic disorder, anxiety, and touching on depression, because I've managed to, for the most part, come out of mine. And depression can be short-term, it can be long-term. I was lucky enough to have it short term. But not everyone's that lucky. And so my thoughts do go out to those that still battle with it every day. Just as much as I battle any other mental illness every day. It's becoming more well known about and more well recognised in society now, having mental health, even at younger ages. My younger brother has anxiety. Not to the same extent that I do, but he still has anxiety. He ain't even 16 yet. Which means it can happen to anyone. And it's scary to think how one error that can seemingly come on overnight can change your life. Now, some people it may have been a gradual build-up, but for me it almost seemed to come on overnight. I woke up one morning and realised I'm not the same. It's almost like someone flicked a switch in my brain, changing how I looked and seen things, changing how my body reacts to things. And from that point on, it was just downhill. And that was right at the beginning. I was still in sixth form at the time, and it was a real hard struggle to get to and from my school. Luckily I had staff there that knew me very well. Staff there that actually have been through real life and understand. And there's just one staff member in particular who's been mentoring me for so long, who, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to name, just as much as I'm not going to name myself. I'll give you a little bit of information about me, of course. I'm 19. I'm from the United Kingdom, southwest area. Now, I'm not going to go into much more details on that. Although people that hear this and are from the certain area could probably guess where I'm from, because it's a pretty standard. And if anyone else wants to guess, it's Gert Lash. Let's put it that way. To answer your question, yes, I'm from Bristol. I said I wasn't going to go into much more detail, but this is all about being upfront and honest and open to people that hear this, so I thought it was a good idea to say where I live. Not necessarily say who I am exactly, but my first name's Daniel, or as I like to be called, Dan. So yeah, I'm Dan, I'm 19. I'm from Bristol in the UK. I have a panic disorder and have done for a good couple of years now. Well, that's actually kind of wrong for me to say, because originally I was diagnosed with just anxiety to begin with. It was after about a few months to a year later that I eventually got diagnosed with a panic disorder. And you know, some people think medications are the be-all and end-all. Personally, I don't. Initially, it really got to me, thinking I'm going to have to be taking pills every day for the rest of my life. Because initially I thought I'd never come out of it. Thinking I'm going to be taking pills every day. You know, and thinking, what kind of life is that to live? Now, medication isn't the be-all and end-all. It's not the right thing for everyone. So the only medical advice I would give is have a word with your doctor to find out what's right for you. Now, I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of my word. And I'm not going to be putting out false information, giving you false hope. Like, yeah, medication is a miracle. It's not. To some people it helps, even if it just alleviates the symptoms of anxiety, it just helps you keep on that level, which to some extent it does for me. Helps keep me somewhat level. However, even when I'm taking my medication, certain environmental circumstances and situations can cause my anxiety to flare up anyway. But by no stretch is it the only option. I mean, I'm currently on a waiting list for CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, which is another option. And if you don't like the thought of going out somewhere, they do the computerised version, which is all done over the network, all done online. You'll have sessions and modules to complete online, because I've been through that. I've done the computerised CBT. Sometimes they shorten it down to CCBT. Now, I've done that. I've given it a go. Doesn't work for everyone, as it hasn't worked for me. But some people may actually find it helps them. So, again, I'm talking about this as another option for you to discuss with your doctor. But always discuss with your doctor. And if you can't talk to your doctor directly, get someone who knows you very well to speak to them for you. As much as the doctor will want to hear you say it, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then that's your choice. That's who you are. Unfortunately, it may not be who you want to be, but that's the way you are at the moment. I mean, assessments and appointments and things like that I have to go for. I can't do that face to face. I have to have it done by a phone call. I don't normally do video phone calls either because I just don't feel comfortable and it triggers my anxiety off. And unfortunately, the life I live, and I'm sure many other people do this as well, is living with the thought of avoiding situations that would trigger your anxiety, avoiding those situations so it doesn't start. It's how I live, and I'm sure it's how many others live. But by no means is it healthy. And I'm not saying it is. I know it's unhealthy. Excuse me. And of course, there's probably going to be a hell of a long silence in between sentences. But I'm not going off a script. That's the thing. For a topic like this, a script is not something I want to do. As much as some people might find it nicer to have a script and find it more fluent of a video of a script, to me it just doesn't feel genuine at that point. You know, you're saying words that have been put onto paper. They may very well be your own words, but to me that just doesn't feel right. Having pointers on paper, I feel fine with that. You know, having certain topics or certain things you want to say that you know you're gonna forget. You know, writing those sorts of things down, of course. By all means, I feel comfortable doing that. I haven't, because this is an impromptu sort of recording. I never originally planned to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. And I have got the time up, and it's just coming up to about 19 minutes long. But then again, I don't care how long this is. And I'm hoping the people listening really don't mind how long it is, and they just want to listen to it so that they can get a better understanding, or at least they can relate with something. Now I'm going to go over the point again. I don't want sympathy from anyone. But I don't want any nasty comments or anything like that. Because not only will it not do me no favours, which I can ignore comments, but also the people watching, if they see those sorts of comments, things like, oh, just deal with it, grow up, man up, you know, pull yourself together, they don't really want to see that. And I tell you something now, if anyone puts that in the comments, this is all I have to say. I fucking hate you. How about you do some research before coming up with those sorts of comments? How about you actually try and live the life of someone who has these problems? Try and live a day in their shoes, and then tell me and then come back and comment, pull yourself together, because I guarantee you won't be able to do it. But everyone else who just wants to understand more, if they haven't got it, or those that just want almost like a reassuring comfort from someone else talking about these problems because they find it hard to talk about it themselves. And by all means, if this helps you explain it to whoever you may be with, either a partner, family, or even a doctor, feel free to use this and just point out the parts that you feel are relevant to you. I'm giving you all possible opportunities. There is nothing, I am not going to put any form of copyright up on this, so anyone can feel free to use it. Don't take it out of context, but if anyone suffers with a mental illness or anxiety or anything like that, and they want to try and use this audio and someone actually explain it to show someone else how they feel, do it by all means. I have no problem with that. Just point out the parts that are relevant to you. And if that helps you get your feelings across without having to say things, then at least you know you've managed to get that over and across to someone. Just coming up on around about 22 minutes now. Now, another thing I tend to do, which I'm sure many people do, is try and disconnect themselves from reality. Either by playing games, or even by imagination and creating your own reality. And yes, as stupid as it sounds, to some people, yes, I play on my own, I have music going, and I talk to people that ain't really there. I create another reality. I create a world where I am who I want to be. And I find it helps. Just having a way to be who you want to be without having to struggle through reality to get there. By no means is it delusion, because I don't feel like I'm there. I don't feel like I'm living there all the time. I'm only in that reality when I want to be there. And I know none of it's real. And I understand none of it's real. It's just a way of coping. And for me, and possibly for others, it's possibly a way of coping with just being stuck in the house all day, every day. Creating your own reality allows you to visualize and almost escape these four walls. Even in your own mind, you can create a brand new room within your mind. As our minds are very creative things. They have the ability to create images on their own by using references of things we've seen before, and even sometimes they create images based on nothing we've ever seen. And that's the sort of thing I do. I create a room in my mind, I create a picture in my mind of something I want to see. An entire world has been created through that process. And of course, by no means is it going to be an easy thing to try and do. You know, some people may not be able to do that. And the other thing I tend to do, which comes on to another way of disconnecting from reality, which is playing games. Now I play Minecraft, which I'm sure a lot of people are already familiar with the game, because it's very popular. But I do more than just play the game. I create mods for the game. And creating mods for the game is almost me trying to keep myself busy by doing something that doesn't just help me, but helps others and provides things to others. Now, of course, the mod that I work on primarily is a joint-owned mod. It's owned by me and a friend of mine. And I'll provide a link to that mod in the description if you are interested. If you're not, that's obviously no problem. By all means. I'll also try and provide links to some proper information about anxiety, so generalised anxiety disorder, panic disorders. Now, because I'm in the UK, I'll probably use the NHS website to get up the information about them. That way, they come from trusted sources that have had many checks to make sure the information's up to date. Because the last thing I want to be doing is spreading information that's out of date and no longer relevant. That's not what this is intended for. Now, as much as I say I go by the name of Dan, you may be wondering, well, why is the channel you're using called DDX5 Media? Well, I go by a couple of aliases. Team Serpentalis being one of them, which is what you'll find the mod under, is Team Serpentalis. It's not the name of the mod, but it's my username on there. I go by DDX5 Media, DX12 Chip. That's my electronics side of things that I like doing. And yes, I do like working with electronics. Creating my own circuits and programming Arduinos and things. It can be fun. It's a good skill to have. But yeah, DDX5 Media is another one I go by. And that's just for all my general stuff that I do, like these sorts of videos. And I'm thinking of doing more of these sorts of videos more often. Actually start doing these sorts of recording sessions where I'm just sitting down with a microphone and just talking. Just about day-to-day life and nothing in particular. You know, but I thought this would be a useful topic to start discussing first, which is who I am, what I deal with, so my difficulties, which I'm sure many other people have, and hoping that someone else can find it useful and find this stuff useful, because I don't wish to gain anything out of this. I'm not going to tell you to smash the subscribe button and break the like button and turn on all notifications. I really don't mind. If you want to subscribe, that is your choice. If you want to like the video, that is your choice. I'm not going to ask you to do that. Because then that's just not doing it for the fact that I want to help people. I'm doing that for views and I'm doing it for clout. No. I can guarantee, if my channel ever takes off, none of these videos are going to be monetized. And I will make damn sure of it. I don't want these videos monetized. I don't want to earn anything from this. I just want this to be available to those who need it. Those that could do with hearing another voice explain what they go through, so they know they're not alone. I don't want to make money off it. I mean, geez, if I was going to try and make money off this, I'd ask you to smash that subscribe button. I don't mind if you don't. If you don't, that's your choice. You are entitled to do whatever you want. As long as you're not hurting no one, do what you like. You know, if you found this useful and you feel like you want to comment about that, then comment by all means. If you don't want to comment, don't comment. It really doesn't matter to me. It's not to say that I don't care. I just don't care about earning any sort of clout or respect or views. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about monetary value of this, because making money off of a serious subject like this, to me, it's just not right. You know, even though it's my own life, I don't want that. Because then it becomes about the money. You know, earning the money, it then becomes about that. That's not how I want these things to be. And to reaction channels that may want to react to this, do so by all means. But by no stretch am I doing this for money. So what I ask of you is don't do it the same. Do the same as me. Don't monetize it. Because I'm not doing this for money. If you have no choice but to monetize it for your own channel's sake, then I understand that. But if you can get away with not having to monetize that video, don't. Because I'm not going to monetize this. Channels with large amounts of followers react by this to all means. I'm just hoping that by you reacting to this and giving your genuine reaction, as long as it's not damaging of a reaction and it's a very genuine reaction, then I'm hoping even your followers who will watch your reaction, I'm hoping this will at least find someone of your following that feels the same way and goes through similar or the same things. This is me trying to get my story out to help others, not to help myself. Because I'm doing things to help myself outside of this. As I said, I'm waiting on therapy. And I know myself that I will eventually come out of this, so I'm not doing this to help myself. I'm doing this to help others. And that's what I want this channel to be about. And in years to come, if there's other sort of content on there, where it's me having a laugh playing games, even if it's Minecraft, because I'm not very good at sort of shooting games. I'm actually quite bad at them. Then I hope people will eventually find those older videos like this one and actually see that that chirpy person they may see there wasn't always a chirpy person. Because unfortunately at times things on the internet, and I know this, they can seem like their lives are amazing, they've never had any problems. You know? Popular people online. Sometimes it looks to us that they've never had any problems in their life. But we don't know what goes on when that camera's off. We don't know the life they live. So even if they just come across this and just realise that I wasn't always that chirpy person, it shows I'm still a human being. I'm still a person just like you. And before this video gets any longer, and also I've run out of things to say really, so I hope you enjoyed listening to this and actually found it helpful. You know, even if you didn't enjoy it but you didn't mind listening to this, I thank you for listening to it anyway. Especially if you've listened right to the end of me just rambling about how I see things and how I go through things. But again, it's not about how I see things and how I go through things. I want this to get to people who feel the same but cannot express it. And for those that watch it to try and understand more, thank you. And for those that watch it anyway, thank you. That is all.